Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It feels good to create content for you all. I know that it's been a while. I'll share that story on the Journey channel here on this coming Sunday. Where have I been? In today's video, I'm going to be using some terracotta pots to create some beautiful one-of-a-kind decor pieces. And I could not believe that I stumbled across terracotta pots at a Dollar General. I always like to see what they have on hand, and terracotta pots are something I love to collect. I think would be a fun blank canvas to create with for this video. So I'm going to be making some appliques for these terracotta pots. Now, I have never used casting resin. I've seen others do it. It seems pretty darn simple. So I made my little lines so I know that I have, like I want those Sharpie lines on my little containers so I know that I am doing equal parts, because it's really is simple. It's equal parts of each part of the casting resin. And then in another little cup, I'm going to mix the two together, and then you stir it until it's no longer cloudy and it gets back to clear. So at like 10 to 30 seconds is all it takes. I just stopped stirring once it was clear. I'm going to be using the IOD molds to do this. Oh my goodness. So you just pour it in. There's no necessarily of using like baking powder or anything like that as a release agent, because it'll pop right out of these silicone molds. I'm trying to go slow though, because I do not want to overfill it. Then you can see that it's already starting to set up because it'll start to turn white. Okay, so I made quite a few. I also used the mushroom molds to make a few also. So now, oh my gosh, that was so super simple. I don't know why I probably have been a little intimidated by casting resin, but no longer. Wow, that was easy. Other than just making sure that you don't overfill them and giving them the time to settle and then harden, which is about 10 minutes. Not bad at all. You will notice that since it's casting resin and it's sat, the harder it gets, but just adding a heat gun, blow dryer, something to reheat will help it be bendable. So that's what I'm doing here, is I need it to shape and round a little bit to fit around the pot. So I'll just heat it up. It's not hot to touch, it's just enough to warm it, to make it pliable, and then now I'm just holding it in place until it kind of cools into that shape. So when it came to adhesives, I was trying to think, what do I have that is a quick dry? Like quick dry within minutes, so that I can work on the project. I know it's going to adhere to the terracotta pot. So I mixed up some of my Bondo wood filler usually, but I have used this a lot as a glue. And I know that with the thin amount that I'm putting on, getting all those edges, that it will really adhere well to the terracotta pot. A little bit messy, oh yeah. But I know also that what squirts out, I'll be able to clean off super easy. Getting all my appliques on and then getting them cleaned up around the edges. I sealed it in with some shellac. That way you don't see where like the glue, the adhesive, the Bondo is off to the side. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to paint this, because as you see, it's not very pretty the way that it is. So I'm just using some Upper Canada as my base color. My main purpose was when I was heating my casting resin up, appliques, and gluing them on and adhering them on with Bondo, I was trying to make sure that everything was flattened down. I tried my best. Some of it may be still a little bit raised, but I really didn't want you to see those edges. So you have to let me know down in the comments below if you have already used casting resin to make these beautiful molds, and what do you use to adhere them down. Me, I was just looking for something that was a quick, like within seconds, minutes, to adhere it to what my terracotta pots. But they do paint rather well. I'm actually kind of surprised because I didn't get this project done all in one day. I actually didn't get them painted to the next day, but I do think that the shellac, even on top of the casting resin, helps adhere the paint a little bit better. So they are painting rather well. Now I could leave it just the painted green, but I thought it would be fun to use some of the IOD ink and just a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree store and just kind of give some of the appliques a little bit more of color. So I'll try to remember to list everything I used below, but look at this, just makes it a simple way to paint these and then just give it a pop of color. And I did end up doing 2 coats of paint, which I thought the coverage was amazing. Not that I've finished up with all my appliques that I already made, but I am going to make up some more because I had an idea. So I remembered that I had these beautiful butterflies. So we're going to go ahead and make some of these up. My butterfly is freshly cured, so it hasn't really hardened yet, so it's going to be a little bit more pliable, so I won't have to heat it up with a heat gun to get it to take the rounded shape of the terracotta pot. See how it's a little bit more workable, just this one, this one anyway, because just of the timing. So now I'm going to try some of my Star Bond CA glue, which is another glue that within seconds will bond. I'm just kind of testing out which adhesive I like. So I liked that the CA glue adhered really fast, but it also shifted, it moved a little bit. I've got some glue that is hard as a rock that I can't really do too much with, and I didn't really want to see my glue on the other side of my piece. So it's a trial and error kind of thing. I'm a learn as I go kind of person, but I do need to seal my terracotta pot in with some shellac, and then we will get it painted a fun color. For me, it was all about just seeing the applique, not seeing where I had glued it to, but making sure that all the edges were glued down. yeah, a little bit of a perfectionist probably. I did a little bit of sandpaper on it. I don't know where that video, apparently I did not video that, in, or somewhere in this video there, I've got to have done it somewhere where I show how I cleaned up the edges. I really did think I videoed that, but who knows. But anyway, yes. So just testing out the difference. I love this little star color. Oh my gosh, is that not bright and fun? And with sealing the terracotta pots in with the shellac, my paint is not just soaking into the terracotta pot, drying, giving me brush marks. I'm just trying to make sure that my first coat is going on nice and thin. With the yellow color, I did end up having to do 3 coats because, of course, it's a light color. Now to give the butterfly a little bit of color. So I'm going back to the IOD inks. I'm really liking how it's just giving it a little hue of color without having to like overly paint something. The makeup sponge is just dabbing on the details because, as we all know, if you've used IOD molds, they have some of the most amazing details out there. So look at how just yellow on yellow is just making that butterfly pop. So I didn't like having the edges that I couldn't really clean up with the CA glue. I liked the dry time and the adhesion time of it, but I did not like that I couldn't really clean up my edges. So I went ahead and made up some more Bondo, and I'm going to do 3 little butterflies on this pot. So I knew there was somewhere in the video that I showed cleaning up the edges of the Bondo. So Bondo right now, like within the 2 to 4 minutes, has my butterflies adhered. But the stuff that's squished out is kind of rubbery. So taking an X-Acto knife, cutting around the butterfly, I'm able to pop off all that extra and get a cleaner edge. So that's what I mean by cleaning up. Well, like the CA glue gets rock hard. I can't cut into it to give it that clean edge. So yes, I knew there was somewhere that I'm like, I know I videoed that I showed how I cleaned it up. So yeah, I like the Bondo because I can clean up my edges so much easier. Not only am I looking for that clean line of like how I adhered it on, but the shellac's also helping even out that porosity where the glue filled in some of the porous surface of a terracotta pot. If you know terracotta pots, you know that they are porous. So that is very helpful too, to make sure that my finished paint is going to look good. But oh, heirloom, how I love this color. Oh my gosh. So yes, just going in, I'm trying to make sure that I have minimal, that I'm not getting any runs or anything, that it's not pooling up around. It's amazing how little of paint you need to use when it comes to fusion paint. It just is amazing. Chris is going to pop in here and help me with one of the crafts, one of my ideas. So what do you think? Can we make these two little Dollar General birdies sit on the edge of the terracotta pot? So I needed Chris to come in because I don't know if my hands were steady enough to use the bandsaw to cut into a hollow little bird, just enough of a lip to be able to sit on the edge of that terracotta pot. I thought would be so cute. Good thing I have a partner that's willing to give things a try. And they're $1. If it didn't work and it broke and went to pieces because they are hollow, then so be it. But it's fun to try out new things. Now the bandsaw cut the lip in there, but it's a little bit still on the small side. So Chris is just using some of his metal files to just widen it a little bit so that it really does have that space to be able to sit down on the pot just a little bit. And then back to my Bondo I go, because I know that it will be a good bond. I will only have to hold them there for minutes waiting for it to start to cure. So if you've not used Bondo, it is like a putty. There's multiple different types. I just have the wood putty on hand. And then you mix up with the little bit of the tube as a hardener. So once you start to mix it, it starts to harden. So you kind of have to work a little bit on the fast side. But I felt as if this would be the perfect adhesion, glue, whatever you want to call it, to stick these birdies on that like they just wouldn't get knocked off. But even though like I didn't have all that glue and scraping or anything like that, I still want to, I feel as if spraying the birds with the shellac, spraying the terracotta pot with shellac just helps that it will paint better. And though I had so much fun painting the other 3 colors, I kind of want the terracotta look. That's something that fascinates me, and I'm drawn to that color. So I'm thinking that Sweet Pickens' Sweet Potato might be a close match. So Sweet Pickens is a powder paint. You mix equal parts powder to equal parts water. You stir it for 2 minutes. You set it off the side and let it thicken up. I can't believe how good that color match is. And it took 3 coats to cover the birdies, just 2 on the whole pot itself. Now I'm just getting it all sealed in with some Weather Defense outdoor spray. I didn't forget about all those mushrooms that I made. I probably made a few too many, but you know, you can save them for another project. So now some of my mushrooms might be a little bit on the larger side or too tall. Just the way this is made to have it kind of bend on the rim and the flat area, a little bit too tight of a curl, but you can see how it does heat up. So, oh, love this little mushroom. Always kind of reminds me of an umbrella, but I can always cut the excess off the bottom. Not worried about that. I just want to get it to be the shape that it needs to be. So crafting, just having a ton of fun with this project. I mean, your imagination can just run wild. I'm only like doing the front faces, but I'm sure you could go around the whole pot if you wanted to. So now it's time to cut off those bottom pieces that are hanging over. Just an X-Acto knife and a little bit of muscle because that resin is nice and hard. I ended up heating it up with the heat gun, and that ended up helping it to cut a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up with some more mushrooms and some ladybugs. And I chose to use the CA glue, which of course you all know that I decided that I regretted using, especially since these are small. You would think, okay, this is the choice, but I don't know if it's the heating it up or the round object, but they ran, it pooled, so lots of trying to clean up the glue around it, but you know, I mean, you live and learn, and Bondo really was the way to go with the small batches. And between the little mushrooms and the little ladybugs, they just look little on this pot. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do the same thing I did earlier with that IOD ink and add some color, one that'll help pop them and bring them out. I thought the two mushrooms and the frog stood alone on themselves and it looked awesome, but I just didn't feel like these are just little blobs, which I think because of the CA glue, I didn't get the crisp lines like I did on the other. But, you know, it's fun to try. It's fun to create. And there's just something about those little red mushrooms and those little red ladybugs. And I do think I'm blessed enough that I have finally completed the collection and have every color of ink that the IOD has. They even have white, so just touching up the stems of these little mushrooms with some of the white. And one of my channel members, Dee, sent me these little dot appliques, which is perfect right now because I want to make some little white dots on my mushrooms. And then now I'm going to go ahead and give the little heads of the ladybugs some black, and then they're going to get the same little applicators with some black dots. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I was glad to make content for you all. It won't quite be as consistent like the 3 videos a week quite yet. I got to baby step myself back into this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Yes, who would have thought that sweet potatoes was going to match terracotta so well? Painting terracotta pots, how to glue, adhere onto, you know, like what was the best way, what was my idea. I hope that I have given you some ideas and you can run with your own ideas and create some. Get to Dollar General, get some $4 terracotta pots. Oh my gosh, that's a steal. Anyway, so again, thanks for watching today's content. As always, thank you for all your well wishes. Lots of well wishes. I really appreciate that. So again, thanks for watching. If you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out the content for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what I'm up to. Bye.